If you're curious about living in downtown Santa Barbara, you've landed on the right video. I'm gonna give you all the ins and outs of living here. We've got millions of people coming every year for a reason because it's pretty amazing. So we're gonna give you the whole scoop. What are the boundaries of living in downtown Santa Barbara? Just about. What are the properties like? And what are the amenities like? What is your neighborhood vibe like? What kind of stuff are you gonna have? So if you're interested in downtown Santa Barbara, sit tight and watch this video. It's gonna be a banger. So a lot of the homes in downtown Santa Barbara are these old, big estates that have been converted. Some of them now are fourplexes, 5 units, multi-family units. Some of them are still single-family homes, and some of them are offices. That's the thing with downtown Santa Barbara. You got a lot of different uses for a lot of these old homes. So like these ones here, multi-family, some of them single family homes, and then some of them being converted to inns, like the Cheshire Cat Inn right down here, where you've got multiple rooms where people come and stay and have amazing meals and vacations there. So now I'm up at Arriaga and Laguna. We're several blocks off of State Street in the upper portion of downtown, the quieter section. This is the bungalow district. You get a lot of these cool older historic homes, but in addition to that, there's a lot of these little single-story bungalows in this area of town. So this is a really great spot if you want to get into a more quaint little smaller piece of property. Downtown Santa Barbara, in the quieter areas, something like this could be what you're looking for. These bungalow districts are really popular because they have great strikeability to downtown, but you're kind of out of all the action. One thing that's very prominent in downtown development these days is mixed-use development. Mixed use is a mix of residential and commercial property, usually all in one building. Now, it could be that you have one unit that is mixed use in itself. It has an office space and a residential space, or it could be a building that shares commercial space with residential space, like this, Alma del Pueblo. This building here has a marketplace down below, the Santa Barbara Public Market. One of my favorite places to go eat because it has a variety of restaurants to choose from in there, all in one place. So if you're going with a group of people, everyone could get something they like. But in addition, they have these really nice, luxurious, compact townhomes up top here. So you're right down above the, right down below is the public marketplace. So this is an example of mixed use. There's lots of these scattered around town, and that's a great option for someone who's looking to live in downtown Santa Barbara. Another cool building, this mixed use one, this is one of those ones where you actually have an office space and a condo upstairs, but downstairs there, those are all commercial spaces only. And if you find yourself here, we're at the end of Chapala. Go ahead and get yourself a taco down at Lily's Taco at the end of the Chapala Street there at the freeway. Some of the most amazing tacos here in Santa Barbara. One reason why you may be considering moving to downtown is because there are quite a few businesses, including this one here, Honey. You've probably seen on your browser that discount icon that shows up for people shopping. This company's doing that. We got Sonos across the street over there. There's also Amazon building up on Upper State Street a little bit further up. So plenty of businesses down here where a lot of people are choosing to live in downtown so they can have an easy commute into work. Another great place in downtown Santa Barbara is this lower section of Chapala. There's plenty of different luxury townhome developments to choose from here. Some of them are gated. It's a great choice for someone looking for a second home or a downsize. It's perfect for locking it and leaving it. And if you're working downtown, totally walkable to some of the bigger businesses like Honey or Sonos, Amazon. It's all right out the backyard. Even the Funk Zone, go right underneath the freeway at State Street and you're in that area of town. Now, parking in downtown Santa Barbara is really a dream, actually, I think, because you've got a lot of parking lots that are 75 minutes free. Almost every block's got one on either side, west or east of State Street, so look out for the city lots. But if you're parking on the street, keep in mind that these signs here are gonna dictate how long you can park there, so it's usually 75 minutes. Some of them are 15 minutes. If you're lucky, you get 90 minutes. But if you're living here, if you actually buy something here and you have to park on the street, well, they usually have permits for residents so that this doesn't get too full with just everybody parking and that the residents always have a spot as well. So lots of good options. One thing to understand about the way that the streets are laid out here in downtown Santa Barbara is that there's one-ways running parallel to State Street in about 4 blocks in both directions running off of State Street. And that's kind of the boundaries of downtown Santa Barbara. You've got the freeway to the west, You've got about 4 or 5 blocks to the east. I figure you vaguely get out of downtown Santa Barbara once you're about 4 or 5 blocks to the east. You go all the way down to the freeway to the south as you get towards the ocean, and about up to Mission. So those are the boundaries, but these one-ways make it really easy to navigate Santa Barbara because you could just scoot over to a one-way and it really scoots you downtown. You could cover a lot of blocks really quickly, especially if you get a lot of green lights like we're coming up to here. So that's something that once you understand that the one-ways run up and down and you know how to use them, you start driving around town and accessing these one-ways to get to and from different sections, whether it's lower or upper. Once you get up to about Victoria Street, you're ending about the downtown area where most of the shops and restaurants are. This is still downtown up here, but it's much quieter. You get a lot of professional services, businesses. If you want to live downtown and have the strikeability, but be in a less noisy area, this is probably the section you want to be in, up in this section. Some of these streets off of State Street in the upper portion, and you can see right behind me here, this place, 1700 block of State Street, the IHOP. It used to be a Frimples, and they have a huge fig tree, probably the second biggest fig tree in the world, growing out of the middle of it in there, and they served these giant cinnamon rolls in a bowl of butter. I remember those as a kid, eating those and just tripping out on that tree in the middle of the restaurant. Definitely something to see. It's kind of a bummer that it's an IHOP now, but nonetheless, a really cool spot. So as we were driving around, I noticed this building here that I wanted to bring you in because this is kind of the entry level for downtown Santa Barbara, at least one of them. For about $800,000, you could get into one of these condos here, and there's actually one for sale. All right, so this is an example of a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in Santa Barbara. This is up on the top floor, so I like that. Downtown living for $825,000. This is what we're serving up here. And one thing that's really cool about this unit is that since it's up on the 3rd floor, I noticed as I came in here, I don't know if you see it, but that reflection is a little bit of a peak of the ocean. I did not expect that from this place, but I think because of the lights just right, we're picking it up today. Transportation in Santa Barbara is pretty awesome. There's great public transportation, there's a good bus system. It's easy to drive around town, and there's all these great electric bikes. You could rent these, check them out. They have an app. You could also rent them at various spots down by the beach where they have the quad bikes, but you could also get e-bikes there. But these are really cool because I feel like this is practical for people who are commuting or going to work, because I think you get an annual membership and you could take this, drop it off at a different station, and it's just a great way to use a bike without actually owning a bike. So downtown Santa Barbara has its own beautiful parks, including my favorite right here, Alice Cake Park. This has got a beautiful pond so you could sit on the grass and look at the ducks. There's koi fish in the pond, there's turtles. There's also a cool little gazebo. You got a great demonstration of the different types of plants that like to grow here in Santa Barbara, plus a lot of tropical ones, and many of them are labeled, so if that's something you're into, you can come and check out all the different plants in here as well. But it's just one of the most amazing parks in the whole world, in my opinion, and it's a block big, a whole block, and it's anchored by this cool little pond right here in the middle. It wouldn't be a tour of downtown Santa Barbara without bringing you down to the promenade here on State Street. Onset of the pandemic, they closed State Street to driving traffic, which also prompted businesses to build these parklets. So now we've got this cool little scene where you could walk, bike, or skateboard down State Street. All these businesses have these great outdoor dining. Now that it's warming up, these will get really packed with people eating. These late nights in the summer, State Street, the promenade, the lights, the dining, the drinking, it's really fun. This vibe down here is amazing. And that's why a lot of people are looking to get into downtown, because they want to walk to all this. All these stores here on the side. One of my favorites, if you make it down here, we're at the 500 block of State Street, Stabile's right over there. So cool. What a great little store. But this is changing too. Right now, the city of Santa Barbara is putting out feelers for different communities to give their feedback on how to revitalize downtown, as far as how to reimagine it. What kind of features do they want to see here? And I think what it's going towards is a lot more mixed use, a lot more small living for people that work in the downtown area. Affordable housing should be coming to State Street, mixed in with the tourism, the shops, the restaurants. It's gonna be a great vibe. Okay, you can see I'm here at Victoria Shops and Restaurants. This is kind of the hub of the cultural district in Santa Barbara, in my opinion, because it's got some of the best restaurants in town. You've got Bouchon, Olio Limon. Across State Street down here, we've got Cadario. Tons of theater action around here too. The Arlington, the Granada, the Victoria Street Theater. So if you want a date night in Santa Barbara, this is where you want to be. Right up here, this is where you could do some of the best dining, check out the best shows, these parklets. This is a great addition as the weather warms up. These are going to be filled up with summer dining. So this is the spot for adulting in Santa Barbara if you want to have a great night. In addition to the ones on Victoria I just showed you, this section has a lot of great restaurants right here on State Street. This one right here used to be one of the best in Santa Barbara. It closed now, but when I was in college, I worked here for about 5 years when it was operated as Downey's. Have a lot of great memories working in there, going in the back, looking out at the guys over at Bouchant as we're about ready to get off and end our shift. Super fun time, but this is State Street's best dining right up here. We're gonna go look at the Arlington next. All right, now this is the Arlington Theater, my favorite theater in Santa Barbara. Some of the coolest architecture too. Whenever you take a look at this, the tower, you can see it from all over town, really nice. What I love about this theater is that inside they have it set up like a Spanish courtyard. So it looks like you're outside and it's got stars on the ceiling. They have paintings that look three-dimensional like a Spanish courtyard. And as a kid, I actually saw Star Wars, one of my best memories, right here, standing in line and watching it there. It changed my world. Like, oh my God, it was so amazing. And to see it in a theater like this was top-notch. The Libero Theater is right here on Cannon Perdido, a block off of State Street. This is the longest operating theater in California, continuously operating. Really cool spot. I've seen some really great shows in here, great for live music. And one of my favorite things I see here is called It's Magic. It's a magic show. Amazing magicians, local people putting this show on, really cool. But this is a great spot for being in downtown, one of the assets of the neighborhood. So right behind me here is the Granada Theater. Now this building is one of the tallest in Santa Barbara. In fact, probably the tallest building in Santa Barbara. It's got mixed use as well. Up top, there's penthouses. So there's some people that bought those units up there. They have killer views. These are wraparound units. Then there's some offices, but then the theater is really the gem. It was restored about, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. It is gorgeous inside. They have a lot of ornate gold leaf detailing, chandeliers. It's like going back in time. You're gonna wanna dress up, you know, put on a suit and go see a nice show in there one day. But this is a really great spot. And down below, full of restaurants. You know, we're still in this upper area. Victoria, I'm looking at, is just over here. So this is still in that dining cultural district, obviously, because we have the Granada behind us. Just down from the Granada Theater, you'll find the Museum of Art here. Really amazing art museum. They've recently renovated it, so come check that out. Now, I highly recommend you come visit La Arcada. This is my favorite little plaza in downtown Santa Barbara. It's just really cute. I like to stroll through it, checking out the different statues. They have really cool little stores. It's kind of a local's favorite, this plaza right here. You want to put it on your list and come mingle through here. Also, don't forget to check out Hook and Press Donut, my favorite donut shop over in the corner. Part of the joy of living in downtown Santa Barbara is the walkability. You walk through these neighborhoods and you get to admire amazing architecture. Like right behind me, my favorite building in all of Santa Barbara, the Santa Barbara Courthouse, is so cool. There's a sunken garden. There's a lot of community events in that garden, especially during the summertime. But this courthouse tower is gorgeous. And up top there, you could actually access it during the day. They have a staircase or an escalator, elevator that takes you up to the top there. And the panoramic views up there are incredible. So definitely worth checking out the Santa Barbara Courthouse. Doesn't sound too exciting until you get here and you see what is on offer, which is some of the most amazing Spanish architecture you've ever seen. So as you can tell, downtown Santa Barbara has got a lot of different offerings if this is a place you're thinking about living. You know, from the bungalows to the townhouses to the condos, there's a lot of different options here. So one of the things that I'd like to offer you is reach out to me via text, via comment in this video, via email, however you want to get in touch with me, and let me help guide you through the process of gathering the information that's going to help you decide what's the right spot in Santa Barbara for you. It may be here in downtown, it may be one of the other neighborhoods. I'm putting together a whole library of videos about the neighborhoods here in Santa Barbara for you to get educated on. And if they're valuable, if you're finding that they're useful, feel free to reach out to me, because I think our personal connection, our interaction, me understanding what you're looking for, what you need, will really go a long way. So I appreciate you watching. I'm Joe Parker with the Santa Barbara Group at Berkshire Hathaway Real Estate. Make it a great one, everyone.